Roger. Thanks for dropping by. I haven't had to do one of these for a very long time, and all the previous ones that I've done have been Cattleya types. This is a Dendrobium. Well, last time I looked it was anyway. This came from Speciotic Plants a while back. Dendrobium tangerinum. Unbloomed, so I haven't got a picture of the blooms, but why is this one difficult, I hear you ask? It's just a repot, or being a Dendrobium, possibly a mount. Well, under normal circumstances that would be true, but not in these circumstances. What are these circumstances? That. And that was a new growth. It was a kiki actually, but it got knocked this morning. I wondered whether it was going to stay there. We'll do our best not to knock this one off, because this one's got nubbins at the base, therefore there will be new roots. That's what I've been waiting for. It is almost impossible to get this off without ruining the roots, because the roots grow right into it and through it. These little beads are pellets of slow release fertilizer. Now this does seem to be disintegrating relatively well. I might end up with some viable roots at the end of this. I doubt it, there won't be much left. Most of the roots will go. This has been grown on from a seedling, you know, tiny little canes getting bigger and bigger and bigger up to the latest one. So you can expect that the roots on this old part of seedlings area, the seedling canes, is not going to have viable roots in it. You know, that would be incredibly unusual, but this is the place where there might be some under the larger canes. So we'll see if it will crumble. It is virtually rotten, but that's the problem. To get it off, it needs to be rotten, and if it's rotten, it's turned acidic and probably killed the roots. And the roots bury right inside it. I'm sure out where it comes from, this is a good media. This will have come from the Far East somewhere. Thailand or something like that, most likely. And you know, this as a media probably cost them virtually nothing. You know, it's probably collected locally or something. But I'm going to end up with virtually no decent roots on here. And that's what I was expecting. I'm not getting anything that I wasn't expecting here. But it's all got to come off because it's rotted. And then we've just got to hope that either some of the older roots branch, or we get some new roots relatively soon at the base of this new growth. It's a strange growth habit if you look. They're almost all kikis. They grow out the side of the base of a cane, and then out of the side of the base of a cane, and then out of the side of the base of a cane, and now again out of the side. Not growing like normal from an actual level base, you know, where the base stays level. So this probably in its natural state would be a bit of a climber. You know, if each cane comes out a little higher than the one before, it's on its way up somewhere, isn't it? There's very little of this that's much good. Very little. Well, all I can do is give it a good wash. That is all I can do is wash the worst of it off, and just hope that some of these roots can branch out. Otherwise we're just waiting for new roots. So you can see where the latest roots have come out here, yeah, but they've failed. You know, they've just not progressed, so they're not good. But maybe some more will push out. So I still haven't made my mind up whether this is going in a pot or going to be mounted. The problem is it is obviously a naturally upright plant. I think it's going to have to go in a pot. Yeah, this holds quite a bit of moisture. You can squeeze it and see the moisture in it, but it breaks down, you know, and it rots. So eventually it has to come off, unless the plant, possibly over where they come from, using this as a media, the plant would grow outside of it. Yeah, so eventually the plant puts a cane out and the roots go outside. Yeah, and then the next one, the roots go outside. Those roots can then be enclosed in something new and just let the old roots die off, which they will naturally do if left in here. But that would save taking the plant out of this stuff and messing up your root system. Well, it's done now. We've got to go very careful not to knock that off. I've already knocked one off. As I said, that got knocked this morning when I was watering it, so I was half expecting it to fall off. So we'll give that a bit of a clean up and then decide what it's going in. That was just to hold it upright because it was very unsteady. And I get a new open basket out of it, which these are getting difficult to get now. Right, I'll be back. Right, I've decided to pot this and keep it upright. So that's what we're going to do, and it's going to be a very simple repot. Grounds that it doesn't need to be anything other than, you can go back in the pot that was surrounding it. It is an air cone pot, and to keep the air cone clear, make sure air can get in through the bottom, I put the large bark in, and then I'm just going to use cocoa husk with no additives, no charcoal, no bark mixed in with it. I'm just going to use cocoa husk. And I grabbed a couple of handfuls, so there's big bits, little bits, hairy bits, there's all the different types in there, and that's what it's going to get. As I said, the existing roots are probably just going to fail as a matter of course, so it's just a matter of getting the plant stable and hoping that a reasonable set of roots come off of that new growth. So it washed off reasonably well. There's a lot of these roots are dead, but quite honestly I need something to anchor the plant in place. So I'm leaving a lot of that root structure, despite some of it knowingly be dead. But in amongst the dead bits are roots that look like they might branch out. Well, they won't if I cut them off, will they? You see what I mean? So I'm going on the caution and sort of thinking some of these roots may actually grow, and it would help if that was round this side, seeing as I'm right-handed. So I'm just getting some in behind the plant just to hold it steady. The chances of any roots growing around the back of the plant here are virtually zero, so I'm just putting some there so that I can push the plant back against it. This area sort of towards what will be the middle of the pot is the most likely place for either some branching roots and or some new ones eventually. Really I've got to go careful with that growth because they obviously knock off very easily. Certainly the other one did. Mind you, that was tiny. Oh, don't say I haven't got enough. That looked plenty. Oh, I've still got quite a lot on the paper here. I've got myself a stake there in case this doesn't sort of steady up. Now I don't want the base of the plant buried, I want the base of the plant sitting on top of this, just in case it's prone to rotting. Some are, some Dendrobiums do not like the base covered in. Right, so we have got enough there. How steady are you? No, I think we'll put a stake up against the largest cane, which is basically the one with the leaves on, and then hopefully that will just hold the rest of the plant steady. I'm just wiggling it, twisting it like that, because it's got like a pointed end to it that will push itself right down in. And as long as the stake is steady, the plant should follow it. Right, so I'm happy with that. Now all I need is some sort of clip. What have we got? I bet I haven't got anything suitable in this cupboard. Just typical. They're either too big or too small. What about that one? Will that go round? Yeah, that'll go round. that's got it. Right, so there we go. We've got a great big puddle now. That wasn't very well planned, was it? So Dendrobium tangerinum. There's no I keep wanting to say tangerinium, but that's not it. Tangerinum. I can't for the life of me think why I got this. It must have been that I wanted something from speciotic plants, and it's very uneconomical to buy one plant from them because your postage is high. So you get a couple of extra plants in there and the postage drops down for each additional plant, and then I probably just looked through their website and thought, oh, that's a dendrobium with pretty blooms. I wonder if they last a long time. And the fact that I got it means they probably do. Right, there we go then. That would have been better if it was stood in there before we squeezed all the water out. So I'm happy that that's steady in the pot. That's how I test it. If we move it and the pot moves, then the plant's not moving in the pot. It's moving the whole pot with the, with the media. So that's good. Nice and steady. And we'll see what happens as far as roots are concerned. But I've got a horrible feeling I'm going to have to wait for new roots to come off of that new growth. Then we'll see how it goes from there. Being a seedling, I could have taken these old small canes off, but the way it's grown round like that, to take these three smaller ones off, which aren't doing much good, the plant would have probably split in two. Now if it was split in two, these three canes would make quite a nice plant, and if they were separated from the main plant, the chances are they'd push a new growth out. So I could have got two plants out of this, probably. But I'll keep it as one, and we'll see how it pushes on. Right, just a quick one. See you next time. Thanks for dropping by.